What's up, ladies and gents? So we're going to be looking at the hardest bosses I faced in Sekiro with some rankings as well for a bit of side fun. But the main purpose of this is that you had to tackle these fights in very much the same way as we tackle stuff in Mythic Raiding. And it's something that I try to apply when doing commentary on the World First Race. Is a lot of people suggesting change tactics, change skills, change comps, change things like this. Lots of changes because clearly the solution isn't the players. When actually Sekiro really drives it home that it's execution that's the problem. It's not really a case of going away and getting stronger. And so many people also bought the game off the first stream that we did where they're like, okay, I'm into this, I want to go and buy it. And have contacted me since saying they're thinking about giving up or it's too hard, they can't do it. So what I wanted to highlight here is, yes, we'll rank the hardest bosses, but I will also kind of point out the struggle and then the satisfaction and able to show off the satisfaction of overcoming that challenge. Because often we look at these fights, or I look at these fights like a puzzle, and if you never finish the puzzle, then you just don't like puzzles. You don't like difficulty. You don't like challenge because you never overcame the challenge and got that reward that's at the end of defeating the challenge. That's the whole point of challenges, is when you overcome them, you get this wonderful feeling that's very hard to replicate without actually challenging yourself in some way. And we can do that in video games. It's very cool. So for some context, for those of you who are Souls fans, if you're not a World of Warcraft player or anything like that and not sure of my other history, in terms of the Souls series, the hardest boss I'd ever faced in the Souls series would have been Orphan of Kos. Orphan of Kos took me around 30 attempts, I want to say, maybe 2 hours. And everything else other than that, not really a problem. I had some definite good luck on my side sometimes, like Ludwig the Holy Blade was a 2-shot the first time I ever fought him. I got pretty lucky there. It actually took me longer to kill him the second time round. Took about 4 or 5 goes. Ornstein of Smo took me about 45 minutes, something like that. Gwyn took me like 10-15 minutes. It wasn't very difficult. That's even without parrying. It wasn't a very difficult fight at all. I think in Dark Souls 2, the Fume Knight took me around 10 or 15 goes, something along those lines. I'm sure the comments who watched it live will be able to correct me if there's something I'm missing there. So let's get in with the first major difficult boss that I faced, or what I would consider like the rank 4. So I rank 4 of the fights in Sekiro as the most difficult. Everything else kind of went down in a reasonable pace. It wasn't particularly challenging. Nothing that I would write home about as being a super, super hard boss. If you are struggling on bosses that I don't mention in this list, don't worry about it, because the game is trying to teach you how to do things. And there's a boss in this list particularly that taught me so much about how to play the game that after I beat that fight, a lot of the game became significantly easier because this one fight kind of taught me what to do. Now, isn't this fight? So coming in at number 4 is the Demon of Hatred. The Demon of Hatred is an extra boss that you unlock by going through some kind of convoluted FromSoft dialogue options in order to uncover the Purification ending, which is the ending that I went for. The Demon of Hatred clocked in at 1 hour and 20. And the interesting thing about this fight, really, is that he has an enormous health pool. He's very much like a boss from Bloodborne. He doesn't fight in the same style of anything else in the game. He's a big lumbering beast. And he also, just the sheer amount of damage this boss does, yet he has pretty easy to avoid attacks. So it's a very case of just learning what he's doing and reacting fast to it, and you should be fine. A big struggle I had on this fight were his meteors, his fireballs in phase 1, where I was being hit by them constantly. I couldn't figure out how you were supposed to avoid these, because everything in this game is avoidable damage. You don't have to take damage from anything. And I could not figure out this fireball that he was doing that takes about 3/4 of your HP, puts you in a super dangerous position. Until I thought logically about it, is he always fires the fireballs from his left hand. That means running right when he's about to do the fireballs means that he has a much smaller arc in order to attack you with, because he sweeps across his body, meaning that if I went to the right instead of the left, which is what I had been doing, a very silly fundamental error, then it was actually really easy to take down and just whittle down that health pool. So enjoy the Demon of Hatred. I mean, he's made of fire. Let's wait. Let's wait and see if he's going to fireball me. one. You do the follow-up? Sekiro, you only live twice. Sekiro, Skyfall. Don't like this position. Oh, everything missed? Oh, that sucks. That's pretty close, but not close enough, I don't think. Follow up. Whee! Pretty decent phase one. We got 7 healing coming out of there. Now we're just going to chase him down in this phase. If he hops back, he's going to go straight into the wall, which is nice. Unless he just charges the fuck away. Not now, dude. Oh my god, it knocked me in the perfect direction for it to get me. It's fucking tough to get back in. Just can't get there. Jesus Christ. All the healing we had. Come on, baby. Hey! Got the grapple. Okay. Let's move away again. Let's use a pellet just to top off. Oh! Okay, he doesn't have a stagger in phase 3. Something to know. I don't know what he's doing. What are you doing? Okay, he charges back. Gotcha. Okay, he's in the fire. That's no good to me. Like, that's just sucks, dude. Can you not be in the fire? Can you not be stuck on that tree? That would be awesome if you could not be stuck on that tree right now. Fireballs. Didn't recognize it. Fireballs. BTS is good. I prefer it if you charged back, obviously. Fuck me. It takes so much health off you. We're out of healing. Just two. What's he doing? Sure. Oh, I blocked it, but the chip damage got me. Come out the fire, dude. Be a pal, will you? Kaboom, baby! We got there! Oh, shit. Finish me, please. Wolf, thank... Oh, he knows me. Woo! That is a spicy boss. Number 3 on the list then is going to be Owl Father. This is a extra fight once again that you get for doing a different ending and going through some dialogue options. He's an extra harder boss. He is a repeat of a boss that already exists. This fight is hard. Hard as balls. It's super fast. It has 2 phases to it. As Demon of Hatred had 3 phases. And in this one, the entire phase lasts so long. One of the things about Sekiro that makes it so hard is that a lot of the boss fights, especially the more difficult ones, can have boss fight timers that are like 10 or 12 minutes of almost perfect play. You can make some errors. That's why you have healing goods and things like that in order to try and get yourself back, and you have a resurrect. But it's such a long time to be playing well in a very fast encounter. And the Demon of Hatred is very slow. This one is much, much quicker. This one clocked in an hour and 23 to defeat this boss. Oh, nice damage. Fucking 3 hits. That's like a godsend. Come on, baby. Bad position. Whoa, that was lucky. Oh, no! Oh, a second too late. No, mistake. Fuck that. Away from the pillar. Away from the pillar. My boy's going for his one shot. That owl, you see that owl shit? It's very hard to see what he's doing. No, sloppy. Oof. Guarantee that's how we're going to finish him, is with a Makiri off that. Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, you fuck off, man. Asshole. Why on earth did I fuck that up? It's just free damage. Oh well, I lost a lot of damage there unnecessarily. He ain't dead though. Oh, I'm a wall! I can't see him! Jesus Christ, I should have died then. lost target on him. The pillar. Fuck. He didn't disappear. Nice. Shit. Oh, no, 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 no. No, no. Oh, fuck. No, no. What? And also, I'll be doing Allcraft tonight. Thanks, Emma, with your worst timing in the history of ever. Oh. Number 2 on the most difficult bosses I faced in Sekiro, then, is actual old Shinobi, Father, once again. So, Owl Father that we just saw is actually the second time that you fight Owl, the character Owl in the game. The first time you fight him is actually earlier in the game and is part of the main story. Like, this is a fight you have to do. And this fight is brutal. Now, this one, I'm going to tell you now, clocked in at 2 hours and 30 in order to defeat this. And this is pretty much back-to-back pulls. We had a lunch break in the middle, but it's pretty much back-to-back going at the Great Shinobi. And, goddamn, this was the boss that taught me Sekiro properly. This was the one that really brought it home. At this point, I was kind of like half decent and still making a lot of blunders, but you could get away with them for the most part, or you just die and come back and then you'd solve it the next time. This was the first fight that really gave us that long fight. So it was about 10 or 12 minutes, and he's doing lots of things that you have to make decisions on, which I thought was very cool. So he has like a Pokeball that he's throwing on the floor, which prevents you from healing. But that's okay, because you can actually take that if you're not planning on healing, because you can avoid everything and actually get a lot more damage into him. So there's a lot of choices to be made throughout the fight in order to make that work. I will say here, this was a fight that we did at the end of the stream day. I may have been tired, which took me so long. But one thing that made Owl Father, the previous fight, easier was that I'd already fought him. He does carry across several of the mechanics and several of the patterns that I'd had to recognize doing this fight, but it was brutal to say the least. Take me for cake! Chuck E. Cheese, Daddy. Chuck E. Cheese. Oh, that's the one-shot ability. If he hits that at any point, we're dead. Not a bad start, not a bad start. Right, so phase 2. This is bad. I'm in what I like to call a corner. Feel it, Mike. Fuck. Oh, son of a bitch! Okay, there's our res gone. Should have capitalized. Oh, God. Can't heal. It's a while till I can heal. There he is. Stay out the poison, stay out the poison. God, my heart is racing. Poison. That's okay, that's okay. Don't one-shot me, Daddy. Don't one-shot me, Daddy. Do. Not like this, not like this. No! Come on. God, my hands are shaking. Near the door. The amount I want to firecracker. That'll do. It's a fucking one-shot first thing in the morning! Fuck off, dude! Oh my god! My head is spinning! Oh my god! Oh my god, I can't believe that. Ah. I must have been tired yesterday, man. I must have been fucking tired yesterday. I must have been. God, my hands are fucking shaking. I was like, don't fuck it up now. Patience. Patience is a virtue. Yeah, that boss is so fucking hard. Jesus Christ. My arms are spaghetti as fuck. God damn it, man. I can't fucking believe that. Ugh. And the number one fight that I found the absolute most difficult in Sekiro during my first casual playthrough of the game, Isshin the Sword Saints. So I think most people are kind of stuck on the old Shinobi. Isshin the Sword Saint, for reference, the longest fight we've dealt with so far was the old Shinobi. That took me 2.5 hours. Isshin the Sword Saint, 5 hours, 20 minutes. This fight is a monster. An absolute brutal test of not only your ability to play the game, as Isshin does do everything in the game to try and kill you. Every mechanic you've learned, at some point, you have to deal with in this fight and deal with it properly. But he also is so long. It's got 4 phases, and they do something that really throws you off and makes the fights considerably more difficult. Is phase 1 is actually against a different character, and you have to do this every time you retry the fight. And a big part about progressing content like this, certainly long fights, is that you have to learn the patterns and the attack speeds of the enemies you're dealing with, which then goes into your muscle memory. So if you're going against, say, old Shinobi or Demon of Hatred back to back, your hands are sort of learning the muscle memory in order to deal with that fight. By throwing a different boss before you fight the actual last boss and having to make you do that each and every time, it's not a difficult boss. You can kill the first boss in a matter of about 30 seconds if you do it correctly, but it takes one mistake. He's still a very punishing. It is the end of the game. So if you do make a mistake there, he will kill you really quickly. Doesn't matter how much HP you've got. He will monster you into the ground. And you will end up going through phases because your hands have, say, adjusted to the Isshin fight, and then you come back and you're doing Genichiro, which is the first guy, and your hands are all over the place. And you just find that you sort of have to re-progress that fight for some reason. I actually one-shot Genichiro the first time I fought against him. I killed him very cleanly. Then I started learning Isshin, which is the next 3 phases of the fight, and then found that Genichiro became harder because I was getting used to this new fight that the game had thrown at me. Not only that, this fight is super difficult. As I said, Genichiro is phase 1. Then you have 3 phases to deal with Isshin himself, and each of those phases is very different. Isshin phase 1 is with a sword with very sort of long wind up, very quick attacks that you need to deal with. In phase 2, he's going to pull out a spear, and he's going to be doing all sorts of large AoE radius swings, very slow, but he also uses a short dagger as well, so he'll wind up with his spear, but then he'll stab you very quickly as he's baiting you with this one, so you have to be aware of that. And then in phase 4, he's going to start calling the lightning. Now, phase 4 is the easiest phase. I don't think that was disputable by anyone. Once we actually got to phase 4 reasonably consistently, the fight went down very quickly. We probably only did phase 4 like 5 or 6 times total over this 5 hours 20 period. It was a period of just trying to get there in a comfortable state where we could make some mistakes to learn the phase and all that kind of stuff. And this is exactly what we saw going back to the WoW play with Mythic Jaina. Is the guys, the method guys, getting back to that final phase was the struggle. But once they were in that phase, they just needed a few times around the rope in order to understand how they were going to cope with that fight, where the mistakes were, where they needed to clean up. But getting there was the challenge. This was a monster. So don't give up, because there were definitely a lot of suggestions coming in from my live audience. You could change this, you could try this, you could try that. But I knew every single time that I died on this fight over this 5 hour 20 period, it was my fault. I had made a mistake. I had blundered somewhere. I had jumped when I should have dodged. I had attacked when I should have defended. Things like that are exactly why I knew we were fully capable of killing the fight there and then. I was totally able to do it, but it just wasn't happening. But you've got to keep going, man. You've got to keep going. So enjoy Isshin, the Sword Saint. And for those of you who are thinking this game is too hard, I finished the Soul series in a way easier way. I consider this game vastly harder, but it's worth it because the payoff at the end, magnificent. Good luck to you guys. Fuck! Jesus fucking Christ, that feels good. God damn! Ah. Oh. I told you, it was just the lightning was the last piece of the puzzle. God fucking damn it. The Dragon Flash. A combat art that performs a high-speed cut from the sheath stance, charged to send out shockwaves, cost spirit emblems, blah, blah, blah. Now what, though? Oh, my God. Oh.